Welcome to Thrive Over 40, the podcast for busy moms navigating midlife changes who are ready to feel energized, balanced, and like themselves again. I'm Amanda Mitchell, Ayurvedic wellness mentor and coach, and I help busy women over 40 improve their wellness naturally through simple, sustainable lifestyle shifts that actually fit into your real life. From stress support and self care to holistic wellness, Ayurveda, nervous system support, and healthy habits for midlife women, this podcast is designed to help you feel better without overwhelm. If you're exhausted from trying complicated wellness routines and looking for realistic ways to support your body, mind, and hormones at home, you're in the right place. Around here, we focus on small intentional changes that create lasting transformation from the inside out. So grab your tea, get cozy, and let's thrive over 40 together. Welcome back to Thrive Over 40, the podcast for busy moms in midlife who are ready to feel like themselves again. I'm Amanda Mitchell, Ayurvedic wellness mentor and coach, and today I want to talk about something that might be draining your energy without you even realizing it. Because when most women tell me they're exhausted, they immediately start looking at the obvious things: sleep, better nutrition, maybe a different supplement, or maybe it's your hormones. And while all those things can absolutely play a role, there's often another culprit hiding in plain sight: an energy leak, one that most women don't even realize that they have. And I want you to think about this. Have you ever had one of those days where you actually slept pretty well? You ate reasonably healthy, you drank your water, you didn't do anything particularly strenuous, and yet by dinner time you felt completely wiped out. Not physically exhausted, just drained, like someone unplugged your battery. I've had those days, and I'm sure you have too. In fact, I remember one very clearly. I had what looked like a fairly normal day. Nothing major happened, no emergencies, no extra appointments, nothing out of the ordinary. But by the end of the day, I felt completely depleted. As I sat down and reflected on my day, I realized something. I had spent the entire day carrying things in my mind. I was thinking about an upcoming event, remembering something I needed to order, trying not to forget an appointment that I had coming up, planning meals, managing schedules, thinking about a conversation I needed to have, remembering a text message I hadn't responded to, wondering if I needed to schedule something else, and suddenly it hit me. My body wasn't exhausted, my brain was. And I think this is where so many women find themselves, because we're carrying around dozens of open tabs every single day. You know how your computer starts slowing down when you have too many windows open? That's exactly what happens to us. Except instead of browser tabs, it's mental tabs. The permission slip for your kid's field trip, the grocery list, the birthday gift you need to get, the appointment, the work deadline that's coming up, the next school event, the phone call you need to make, the thing you forgot to do yesterday, the thing you need to remember to do next week. And the crazy part is that most of us don't even realize that we're carrying all of that because we've gotten used to it. It's become our quote unquote normal. We tell ourselves this is just life, this is just motherhood, this is just being an adult. But just because something is common doesn't mean it's healthy. One of the biggest energy drains I see in women over 40 isn't the lack of effort, it's the mental overload. It's trying to be the keeper of all things. And here's the problem with that: your brain wasn't designed to be a storage unit. It was designed to think, create, solve problems, and experience life, not hold on to an endless list of responsibilities. Yet so many women are walking around acting like human reminder systems. Raise your hand here if that's you. And eventually that catches up with us. Maybe that's brain fog for you, or forgetfulness, or irritability. If you're a pitta, that's irritability is top on my list. Maybe it looks like feeling overwhelmed by the small things, or maybe it looks like waking up already tired. And often women blame themselves. They think they're not doing enough, But what if the problem isn't that you're doing too little? What if that's been you're carrying too much? And I want you to think about how often you're making decisions throughout the day. What should I make for dinner? What needs to get done first? What does everyone else need? What can wait? And what am I forgetting? Even these small decisions require energy. And when you're making hundreds of them every day, our mental reserves start running low. And this is one of the reasons Ayurveda places such a strong emphasis on routine, or what I like to call rhythm. Not because rhythms or routines are boring, we aren't creating more rules. It's designed to reduce decision fatigue, to free up your energy. And when certain things become automatic, your brain doesn't have to work so hard. And that's something I see with the women inside my Reclaim Your Radiance program. Women often come into the program believing they need more discipline or motivation or willpower, but what they actually need is less mental clutter, more simplicity, and more support. And inside Foundations, we focus on creating small, sustainable habits that remove some of that mental load. Because every habit you automate becomes one less decision you have to make. And you don't have to wonder if you're going to drink your water, you already have a plan. You don't have to negotiate with yourself every day, you have a simple rhythm. And you don't have to constantly start over every Monday, you have a foundation to return to. And that creates energy because you're carrying less. Now, here's another energy leak that doesn't get talked about enough: unfinished thoughts. Have you ever replayed a conversation in your head over and over and over, or worried about something that hasn't even happened yet, or spent days stressing about a decision you haven't made? That's energy too. In Ayurveda, we talk about how the mind and body are deeply connected. Your body doesn't always know the difference between an actual problem and a problem you're rehearsing repeatedly in your mind. If your brain is constantly processing stress, your body pays the price. And I think this is particularly true for women. We're often carrying emotional labor that nobody sees. We're anticipating everyone else's needs. We're managing emotions, ours and others. We're planning ahead and keeping things running smoothly. It's invisible work, but it's work nonetheless. And invisible work still requires energy. So, what can you do about it? The first thing is awareness. You can't change what you don't notice. So, take a few minutes today and ask yourself, what's taking up space in my mind right now? Not what you're doing, what you're carrying. You might be surprised how long that list actually is. Second, get things out of your head. Write them down. Create a list, even if it's on your phone. But there is something to be said about actually physically writing with a pen and paper. Put reminders on your calendar. Keep a pad of paper and a pen on your nightstand so that when your brain starts that loop before bedtime, you'll have a neat little to-do list for the morning you can reference throughout the day. And even more important, it will be out of your head to try to remember tomorrow. Give your brain permission to stop holding everything. Remember, your mind is a wonderful tool, but it's not meant to be your storage system. And third, identify one thing you can let go of, just for now. One responsibility, one expectation, one thing that doesn't need your attention this week. Maybe you can even delegate that task to one of your kids or even your husband. Sometimes it's not about asking for help, it's about control over them following through with it. Let it go. And finally, create one simple habit that supports you. Not a complete lifestyle overhaul, not a complicated wellness plan, just one small thing. Like, I'm going to go for a walk after lunch today. Because sustainable change is built through small wins. And that's exactly what we focus on inside the Reclaim Your Radiance program. Creating simple shifts that help women reclaim their energy, rebuild trust with themselves, and feel like themselves again. Because the goal is to create a life that feels lighter, a life where you no longer are carrying everything all the time, a life where your energy is being invested in what matters most. So before we wrap up today's episode, I want to leave you with a question. What is one thing you've been carrying around that you no longer need to hold on to? Maybe it's an expectation or a story you've been telling yourself. Maybe it's the belief that you have to do it all. Whatever it is, consider what might happen if you put it down, even just for a little while. You might discover that the energy you've been searching for was never actually missing. It was simply being spent somewhere you didn't realize. So, thank you so much for spending your time with me today. If this episode resonated with you and you're ready to identify the hidden energy drains in your own life while creating simple, sustainable habits that support your well being, I'd love to invite you to learn more about the Reclaim Your Radiance Foundation's journey. You'll find all the details on that in the show notes. And remember that small shifts create big change. And sometimes the most powerful thing you could do is stop carrying what was never yours to hold. Until next time, take gentle, meaningful care of yourself. Before you go, I want to remind you that lasting wellness in midlife doesn't come from doing everything perfectly. It comes from small, supportive shifts that help you feel more like yourself again. If you're ready to stop spinning your wheels and start creating sustainable wellness habits that support your energy, hormones, nervous system, and overall well being, I'd love to invite you into my Reclaim Your Radiance Foundation's journey. Inside, we focus on simple, realistic practices for busy women over 40 through weekly guidance, supportive habits, and one on one mentoring designed to help you feel more grounded, nourished, and radiant from the inside out. You can find all the details in the show notes. And if this episode spoke to you, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with another woman who needs this reminder too. Until next time, keep choosing yourself in the small moments because those small shifts truly add up.